Proverbs 5:15 and 16. Drink out of your own cisterns, and running waters out of your own well. Let your fountain be dispersed abroad, and the rivers of the waters in the streets. You know, Jesus is the living water. We're not to rely on others to gain the living water that we need, or to go straight to the source. While others may help us come to the source, others' faith does not save us. But the Word allowed our faith come out so other people can come to faith on their own as well and receive the water for themselves. Okay. Joshua 5:8 through 15. 5:8 through 15. Okay. Let's see. And it came to pass when they were done circumcising all the nation that they abode in the places in the camp till they were whole. And the Lord said unto Joshua, This day have I rolled away the reproach of Egypt from off you. Wherefore the name of the place was called Gilead unto this day. So they were to remember their time in Egypt. They were to remember where God had brought them from, their bondage. You know, it's important for us not to dwell back in our bondage, but it's important for us to remember the bondage we came from so we have more reason to praise the Lord. You know, they were to not forget that the Lord brought them out of Egypt, but they were no longer to live as if they were still bound in Egypt. Sometimes the Lord brings us out of our bondage from sin, but we still beat ourselves up because we were bonded to sin. While we're to remember, He has brought us out of that, and we need to live for Him because we've been brought out of that. Verse 10. And the children of Israel encamped in Gilead, and they kept the Passover on the 14th day of the month, and even in the plains of Jericho. And they did eat of the old corn of the land on the morrow after the Passover, unleavened cakes and parched corn in the selfsame day. So they do this in the plains of Jericho. This is part of their new land. They keep the Passover. This is the first Passover they're doing in the new land. It's a very big deal. God made promises, and they're being fulfilled. When God fulfills His promises, it's not for us an excuse to do whatever we want. We should still continue to serve Him when His promises are fulfilled. Verse 13. And it came, verse 12. And the manna ceased on the morrow, after they had eaten of the old corn of the land. Neither had the children of Israel manna any more, but they did eat the fruit of the land of Canaan that year. So they didn't need God to provide them food anymore, because God provided them the land to grow their own food. God will provide us what we need, but sometimes what we need, we have to go out and get. You know, He provided them food as long as they didn't have land. Now the fact is, He's took them to a land that they're supposed to conquer, that He's with them to conquer. They can grow their food in that land. As long as they're true to Him, He'll see that their food grows and bless them. Just because we're serving God doesn't mean it's easy. They had manna fall from the sky that they just had to gather. Now that they're in the promised land, receiving God's blessing, that they grow their own food. This was true blessing, though. Yes, it would have been more work, but it would have been worth it. See, coming to God doesn't mean less work. Oftentimes it means more. But if we trust in Him, fruit will be bared. Verse 13. And it came to pass when Joshua was by Jericho, that he lifted his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man over against him, with his sword drawn in his hand. And Joshua went unto him, and said unto him, Art thou for us, or for our adversaries? So this was a big deal. Joshua was a soldier. He noticed this man was a soldier. So he's saying, are you for us, or are you against us? Joshua was smart enough to realize this man may be with us. We do not need to make war. He may be an ally. But if he's not, then we need to take him out. And he said, Nay, but as the captain of hosts of the Lord am I now come. And Joshua fell on his face to the earth, and did worship. And he said unto him, What saith my Lord unto his servant? So, this was not just an angel, because Joshua worships him. Angels are not to be worshipped. This was an embodiment of God, because he calls him Lord. That's capital L. He worships him. This is God coming to Joshua. And he falls down in worship with humility because of God. We should always worship God in humility. And the captain of the Lord's host said unto Joshua, Put off thy shoe from off thy foot, for the place where thou standest is holy. And Joshua did so. You know, angels never once made land holy. It's only by the presence of the Lord that is land made holy. Just as Moses saw the burning bush, Joshua saw the Lord's soldier, the commander of the Lord's army.